In a bustling town in Nigeria, where the clamor of daily life echoed through the streets, there were two men whose lives were as different as night and day. One was a rich man, known throughout the town for his immense wealth and opulent lifestyle. He lived in a grand mansion on the hill, surrounded by lush gardens and lavish decorations. His clothes were always of the finest fabrics, and his servants attended to his every need. The other was a poor man, who lived in a modest hut on the outskirts of town. His clothing was threadbare, and his days were spent toiling in the fields or performing odd jobs just to make ends meet. Despite his meager possessions, he had a heart full of kindness and contentment. One day, the rich man, who prided himself on his wealth and status, decided to visit the poor man. He had heard tales of the poor man's generosity and wanted to see for himself whether such a humble person could truly be as content as the story suggested. The rich man arrived at the poor man's modest hut, his extravagant attire and the entourage of servants starkly contrasting with the simplicity of the surroundings. The poor man greeted him with warmth and hospitality, offering him a place to sit and a meal to share. The rich man was taken aback by the poor man's graciousness and the simple yet hearty meal of beans and corn that was served. As they ate, the rich man inquired about the poor man's life and his contentment despite his lack of material wealth. The poor man responded with a smile, "I may not have riches, but I am rich in happiness and gratitude. Every day I am blessed with the beauty of nature, the love of my family, and the warmth of my community. To me, that is true wealth." The rich man, who was used to measuring success and happiness in terms of material possessions, found this perspective intriguing yet puzzling. He decided to test the poor man's claim. "If you truly believe that you are richer than I am, then let us exchange our lives for a day. You shall experience my wealth, and I shall live your life. Let us see if our perceptions of happiness change." The poor man agreed, curious to understand the rich man's view of happiness. The following day, the rich man moved into the poor man's hut, while the poor man took residence in the rich man's mansion. The rich man was initially excited about his new luxurious surroundings but quickly found the life of the poor man to be full of challenges and difficulties. He struggled with the manual labor and the meager provisions, and he found himself missing the comforts and conveniences of his former life. Meanwhile, the poor man enjoyed the lavish lifestyle, the fine clothes, and the abundance of food at the rich man's mansion. However, he soon realized that the riches did not bring him the same contentment he had in his modest home. The opulence felt empty without the simple joys of his previous life, and he missed the genuine connections and the sense of community that he had left behind. After a day of living in each other's shoes, the rich man and the poor man met once again. They shared their experiences and insights, and it became clear that their initial perceptions of wealth and happiness had shifted. The rich man admitted that the challenges and hardships of the poor man's life had given him a new appreciation for the simple joys and the true value of contentment. The poor man, on the other hand, realized that while wealth could bring comfort, it could not replace the deep sense of fulfillment he found in his own life. With newfound respect and understanding for each other's lives, the rich man and the poor man parted ways. The rich man returned to his mansion, but he carried with him a deeper understanding of what true wealth meant. He began to use his resources to help those in need, sharing his wealth with the less fortunate and contributing to the betterment of his community. The poor man went back to his humble hut with a renewed sense of appreciation for the simple pleasures of his life. He continued to live with contentment, knowing that true happiness was found not in material possessions but in the richness of one's heart and the connections with others. And so, the story of the rich man and the poor man became a lesson for the entire town. It reminded everyone that wealth and happiness are not always measured by material possessions, but by the richness of one's spirit and the ability to find joy in the simple things in life.